his diplomacy becomes bolder. This indicates the United States is weaker. Foreign Minister Wang clearly stated, "The only title for Taiwan is province." He emphasized that Taiwan has never been a country. It's rare that both the US and Taiwan. He remained silent. It's well known. The first conditions offered by the mainland are always the best. First courtesy, then force. This is not a market bargain. Nor is it a negotiation. The first proposal tells you, this is the greatest concession. If you refuse, then don't blame him for acting. Looking back at history, the proposals from the mainland to Taiwan are a process of descending offers. Initially, the mainland was even willing to offer a near-federal model. Taiwan could have its own economy, its own military, and personnel appointments. You only needed nominal unification. Taiwan said no. Then came the 1992 consensus. If you don't read, unify, or shout slogans, everyone plays their own game. The mainland does not interfere. Taiwan still said no. Following Hong Kong and Macau, Taiwan could also become a special administrative region with various policy preferences. Yet Taiwan still said no. Now, Wang's attitude is very clear. The final choice we offer is that Taiwan will have no economic, military, personnel, or fiscal autonomy. All of this is the result of Taiwan's own choices. The mainland has been keeping a low profile for years. Finally, it has reached this point. If they were to offer the same conditions as 20 years ago, then all the humiliation endured over these 2 decades would be in vain. When the aircraft carrier was built, Taiwan was special. Even with 3 aircraft carriers, Taiwan remained special. So building those carriers was pointless. Thus, from a special administrative region to a regular province, Taiwan has missed its historical opportunity. There will not be millions of heavenly people above us. Now, within and outside, there is Shanghai. There is Hong Kong. In between, there is the Shenzhen Free Trade Zone. There is Hainan. Taiwan may have once hoped to return as a special administrative region. But now, there is no hope. And there won't be in the future. Moreover, in essence, Wang's statement contains something worth noting. Respect for national sovereignty and territorial integrity should support the mainland's complete unification. This implies that not supporting full unification means disrespecting the mainland's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Based on the principle of equality, the mainland may also not respect the other's sovereignty and territorial integrity. He doesn't even recognize your sovereignty. Nor does he see you as a country. So he can interfere at will. That's no issue. Right? In fact, Taiwan and Australia play similar roles. Both are chess pieces restricting the mainland within the US island chain. Taiwan is the first island chain. Australia is the second island chain. So between the mainland and Taiwan, Australia has always been the US. Especially the US Navy. However, since Trump sold out Ukraine, the words towards Taiwan have become increasingly severe. The tone has become harsher. The lines are more direct. Now it is clear. If the West uses Russia against Ukraine, what can they do to us? The war in Ukraine has completely exposed the West. Not only does it make everyone realize they are already struggling, more importantly, it reveals they lack the determination to fight a strong enemy. Despite Ukraine's bravery, they still do not receive direct support from Western countries. 3 years later, Ukraine faces abandonment and betrayal by the leader of the civilized world, the US. So how can Taiwan expect help from the US? Directors can't. Thus, recently, the mainland's destroyer exercises near Australia send a strong strategic signal. Moreover, from the President to the Secretary of State, to the Defense Minister, and the Pacific Fleet Commander, even the Ambassador to Australia, all are mere names. This means, if the US doesn't dare to protect even a traditional ally like Australia, then Taiwan's situation is even more perilous. The US can abandon Australia. Naturally, it can abandon Taiwan. Simply put, the US island chain blockade is already a thing of the past. The US can no longer uphold its presence in the Asia-Pacific. The emergence of the mainland's sixth-generation ships indicates the US has lost air superiority in East Asia. And the Navy is a force that can be defeated in an afternoon. Without air superiority, there is no maritime power. The US has lost its qualifications to challenge the mainland. Moreover, the US has consumed massive resources in Ukraine and Israel. And internal conflicts in the US are escalating. Under these circumstances, the US will not risk a full-scale war with a nuclear power over a small Taiwan. For the mainland, the issue of recovering Taiwan is no longer whether it can be done, but how to maximize the options for the US before recovery. Since August 22, 2022, when the Eastern Theater held exercises, this is the first complete encirclement of Taiwan by the mainland's military since the Taiwan issue erupted in 1949. This holds significant historical importance. After this exercise, it can be confidently stated, Taiwan is now completely trapped. At any moment, it's all in the mainland's hands. In fact, the strategic value of reclaiming the island is no longer what it used to be for the East. Previously, their naval power was insufficient. After reclaiming the island, it could serve as a transit point for entering and exiting the Pacific. However, with the increase of their influence in Southeast Asia, even Vietnam is willing to accept technical docking of their warships. In the future, Malaysia and Indonesia may also allow them technical docking, making the South China Sea a part of their domain. Southeast Asia could become a new Sanya. The strategic impact of the island is diminishing. Instead, it can greatly engage US forces. Moreover, it maintains the blockade of the first island chain. The US military budget for 2025 has reached a new high. Previously, it was $895 billion. This time, the US has significantly increased military investment in the Asia-Pacific. Among these, the budget for the Pacific Deterrence Initiative has skyrocketed to $75.6 billion. Thus, the island is now a vital point for the US. As long as they are present, they will continue to bleed. Moreover, confronting 23 million people is a significant challenge. The West would impose comprehensive sanctions if the strategy shifts. For example, to Australia. It only has a population of 25 million. Which could reduce the number of countries sanctioning them. From a resource perspective, Australia possesses the iron ore urgently needed by the East, soil, and oil resources. And currently, the East relies on Australia for over 60% of its iron ore. This has become a strategic risk. If they can control Australia, the East will secure a stable strategic supply. Moreover, the Australian military totals only 60,000. These personnel were established in cooperation with the US military, not meant for independent combat or heavy equipment. They have few old tanks, but place emphasis on rapid response. They also possess a considerable number of transport aircraft. Unifying Australia would bring direct benefits. Australia's production construction teams are always recruiting. Once integrated, they will provide significant resources. At the same time, they could completely break the US blockade in the Pacific, gaining an important channel to the vast Pacific. The world is becoming increasingly unstable. Peace has never been the norm for humanity. The small nations profiting after the Cold War is merely a brief anomaly in thousands of years of human history. Looking back at the 24 histories, throughout the ages, efforts were made to strengthen military capabilities for warfare. It was to expand territory. Once domestic conflicts are settled, they would turn to border conflicts, then to expeditions. Emperor Wu of Han conquered the western regions, which led to the establishment of a military that rarely engaged in war. Facing strong power directly is merely futile. Moreover, during a recent UN vote on the Ukraine issue, a rare scene occurred. The three major permanent members, the US, Russia, and China, voted unanimously. This moment symbolizes the end of a moral spring and autumn period. What follows is an era of war and annexation. As for the US wanting to unify North America, to take Canada and Greenland, Russia aims to reintegrate the former Soviet regions. It has already taken Crimea, a manifestation of the warring states. For the East, reclaiming the island not only completes national unification, but also eliminates U.S. strategic presence in the first island chain. It would also secure an important gateway to the Western Pacific. However, this matter is not urgent. When will the U.S. begin to annex Canada? When that happens, unification will follow. At that time, it would be easy to move south. No problem. Before that, they should just continue draining the U.S. As long as the U.S. begins land expansion, they will have a legitimate cause. The U.S. will face greater troubles than them. Southeast Asia and Australia are likely trembling now. Light and follow the tavern. The strategic situation is perplexing. I will help clarify it for you.